Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this video. Today is Saturday, the 5th day of July 2025. There is one community in Kwara North district. It is called Lata Nna, Latanna, Lata Nna community. This community is a very large community, and it has like fractions of communities that are close by. So these places, the communities around it, they are very large. This is supposed to even be like a local government area in some states. Now, what happened? The security officers fled from them last week because of the terrorist attacks, the Mahmuda and the people they call bandits, of which all of them are the children of ISWAP, the Islamic State of West African Province. After last week, the only people who were fighting, withstanding them, were the vigilantes from these areas. Now, what happened today? The vigilantes were overpowered. So many of them were killed, and these people are now fully in charge. I said this right from time, that from Kwara State, there will be mayhem against the Southwest people. That is just their plan. They are trying to establish a camp there. I made a video yesterday when I was talking about the political atmosphere in Nigeria. A lot of people did not understand my concept. This is what I mean. In the midst of death toll in Nigeria, terrorist attack, communities falling under the government of ISWAP, Nigeria losing territory, some people are still prioritizing 2027 election. This is my anger. This is my anger. And that is why I will always continue to say that these people don't have solution to the problem we are facing. So just look at around the country. Tell me, is it because these people have security details? That is why they don't care about people who are dying, villages that are being taken? No, this is so sad, because if I say something and people will always misunderstand me, who will like to be in the shoes of these people? Would you like for your village? I mean, you're watching me now. If you hear that your mother, your father, or your brothers were killed now, will you be happy? That time you will start crying because it has gotten to your turn. But now, because it's not affecting you, all your mind is just 2027. This is not acceptable. Yes, whether we like it or not, 2027 will come. That is, whether we like it or not, whether you say you no go vote to, you go vote to, 2027 will come and go. But it is better for us to tell ourselves the truth. Everybody is just keeping blind to the massacres that are going on in Nigeria. Nobody cares. Look at yesterday again, Benue again, after the women protested, the terrorists also attack. And it has become normal. We have been psycho-conditioned to believing that this is the way Nigeria is, that you can wake up and see attack at any time. This is what I'm talking about. People who removed Jonathan because they said the terrorist attack in Nigeria is becoming too much. They brought Buhari, forgetting that it was Buhari and co that reported them. Now, from Buhari, they said, Tinubu, we do well. You people brought Tinubu, you rig him into power in collusion with INEC. Now, this is his 2 years in office. People are still talking about 2027. How many times will you make mistake before you will learn? How many times will you make mistake before you will learn? So, I don't have anything personal against everyone doing election. After all, I like people who have contrary opinion with me. Don't forget that in the year 2023, we campaign for P2B, we work for P2B and so on. But I am saying that this thing is not the solution. That does not mean that if, for example, now maybe the coalition gave P2B a ticket tomorrow, that if people are campaigning for P2B, that I will be against it. No, I won't. But we must tell ourselves the truth. Their communities have been taken every day. Who told you it's not going to get to your turn? It will get to your turn, and I will declare. A lot of people who always disagree with us before, so many of them are not alive today again. Why? Because they paid deaf ear to terrorist attack that was around them. he should report about insecurity sage. They will say, no, that place is my community, it's safe. And one of them is dead. One of them is dead, not the ones we are not in contact with, because they pay deaf ear to what is going on. So, what really transpired? Kwara residents flee as suspected bandits attack communities, overpower vigilantes, burn vehicles. There is tension in Lata Nna community and surrounding villages in Kwara North district, Kwara State, following an invasion by suspected bandits who have been shooting violently, forcing residents to flee their homes. Now, when you hear about suspected bandits, they are talking about terrorists. In Nigeria, it connotes terrorists. Now, it continues that Sahara reporters learned on Saturday, that is today, that the attack by the bandits occurred around 7:30 p.m. on Friday and sent shockwave through Lata Nna and neighbouring villages, prompting mass exodus of residents. According to the eyewitness who spoke to NupekoTV, a group of vigilantes on patrol were ambushed and they returned from the bush. As they returned from the bush, their vehicles were reportedly burned down, triggering widespread panic. The gunshots were terrifying. The caller recounted, describing how many community members, including those from surrounding villages like Kokodo and Gada, fled their homes in fear. Addressing claims that the initial report of an attack was false, the distraught residents vehemently refuted them. Whoever said it is false will be punished by God, he declared, expressing profound distress. How can I play with the lives of his family? Since Monday, my communities are living in panic, fear, being attacked. What will I gain if I lied? And if they think I am lying, they should come to Lata Nna. Now, out of the article, this is what so many Nigerians are found doing. They like, without even knowing anything, they like to say, no, there is nothing happening here, when they don't even know. They don't even know the place. They will just try to tell you that this is a fake news when they have not even verified the information available. So that is what this caller who reported to this TV channel is saying. Now, the caller painted a grim picture of the criminals' capabilities, stressing that these criminals are armed with sophisticated weapons. They are difficult for vigilante to battle with. The community is now making an urgent appeal for the government intervention to dislodge, these heavily armed groups. There is nothing the government could do, absolutely nothing, because even neighboring community, their emir said that the soldiers and the DSS that they brought are inexperienced and unequipped. That anytime these terrorists strike, the military, the police will run. It's so pathetic. So the latest incident underscores escalating insecurity in Kwara North, putting immense pressure on security agencies to provide effective protection for vulnerable communities. Anyway, the article continues. Let me stop the article here. So, in the midst of all these things, you see political folks going around talking about the next election. Even though we want to talk about the election, even though we want to campaign for people, even though we want to vote, can't we pay attention to people who are dying? If everybody die, who will talk about election? Oh, that is their plan, right? To kill people and take over the country for themselves. I pity people who don't still understand the handwriting on the wall. May the souls of those who died rest in peace.
Before the terrorists would come,
there should be a form of intelligence.
The Nigerian military would come and disarm local population first. Yeah. They would disarm the local population.
Oh, not true.
In fact, what my friends in the Middle Belt have told me is that they have learned that once the military come around searching house to house to disarm local populace, even take their dang guns, they know that the Fulanis are not coming behind. That is the level of complicity that you have.
So, well, then I've been vindicated.
It's not just you. Somebody came to national TV, Commodore Laumi. You don't see spooks, military spooks, you don't have spies, you don't see them in daytime. That's not somebody you find on national TV. But the man was sufficiently alarmed by our security circumstances that he sat down in the TV channel and TV station of channels. And he said it on national TV that there are Boko Haram sponsors sat in the president's cabinet, and he had submitted a list of these persons to the president since 2016 and nothing had happened. And we are still talking about a suspicion. It's no longer suspicion. Kawu Baraje came out in 2022, I think. It was his 70th birthday. And he came out and he told everybody who cared to listen that they were the ones who imported Fulani terrorists into Nigeria in the lead up to the 2015 election. And that they harmed these persons that they had brought into Nigeria from 5 different Sahelian countries. He said so. He's on record. Look, my friend, Dr. Stanley Kavram, is the National Publicity Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum. He was, I think, on Arise the other day, where he said categorically, and he wasn't the first to say it, that there is a base, a militant base, terrorist base in the tri-state area, Nasarawa, Benue, and Plateau. That base is known to each and every one of our security services. That base is sometimes reinforced and resupplied by helicopters
in this country.
And nothing has ever happened.
I don't know why.
So we're no longer. Don't let's be talking about. It's no longer about suspicion. It's not a theory.
It's not
the fact. We should be able to call it what it is. The fact is that the Nigerian state has turned against its own citizen and is facilitating murder.
Right.
All right. So
Nigeria supposedly became independent in 1960. This year makes it 65 years since Nigeria has been independent.
Then we are old.
Now, in all that time, there have been one strident call to blame the colonialists or the other, and they should be blamed, because even our foundational problems are traceable to their deeds.
The system
they have left without leaving. Right? But I am big on self-responsibility. We need to come to a point where we take responsibility for our own actions. We cannot continue to point fingers at the West. We are the ones responsible for this. If we don't take responsibility, even though, like I said, the process of decolonization is a long one. It will take generations. In fact, I'm not even sure it's possible to decolonize our minds.
I agree. I think it is.
Well, we can have that conversation some other time. But when you consider the fact that the African has lost his sense of original spirituality, he has become religiously vacuous, cacophonous without content.
We don't take pride in our own origin. We demonize our own spirituality. Yes.
Look, if you, I think it's Acts of Apostle, chapter 17, verse 23.
There we go. There we go.
He says, "As I walked through your city, I came to a monument, and on it was written, to the unknown God." No, when you get to a point where the man was going around the city, he could acknowledge the fact that they knew God before he brought Christ. And he went further to tell them that God whom you did not know is the one I have come to reveal to you. But he came to Africa and they wanted tabula rasa. They don't believe that we had any spirituality worthy of conservation. Everything had to be demonized. Ekwensu became Satan. Eshu became Satan. Eshu became Satan. Every time the Christians are attacking one grove or the other, or the Muslims will go and attract that grove. So we have become a people who reflexively demonize our own spirituality. The African will come across a mighty tree and he will bow in awe of the God who has created the tree, not the tree itself.
Yes, true.
But that is flowing from a place of connection with his environment. But what do you have now? Vacuously religious.
Fair point.
They will come to a tree. Somebody has tied a white cloth around the tree just to reference the tree, save it from being cut down. It's a form of conservation. You're a for what?
This is
so when you are done decolonizing the mind, you can then begin to talk about decolonizing the space. So I don't know how many generations it might take, and it has to be a deliberate and intentional thing. How do you do that with all these ones that are busy buying jets on account of the name of Christ?
So on that, American independence from the Brits, so exactly why I pointed and referenced that it could happen, but eventually for it to happen, there is also the place of the IMF, the ICJ, and those guys, World Bank.
Those ones are set up to do what they are doing.
Basically, and that is what you call neocolonialism and imperialism. Because these guys,
but you call it that,
do not have
you
control
call it
over our own resources or minds, and control it for us.
You call it that.
Mind. Media is the mind of society, and if media remains in the hands of those who drive propaganda, then our minds are in their hands, basically.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Me and you call it neocolonialism. We know it for what it is. We call it all kinds of.
We call it whatever it is.
We know it for what it is. But what have we ever done about it?
We have to look inwards then. And
how do you look inward?
Draw the lines.
There you are going.
But to draw the lines
until you have drawn the line and gain control of your political space, you cannot change any one of these things. The people who govern us are not unaware of the fact of the existence of these different neo-colonial constructs, but they benefit from the existence of those things. And because they benefit from the existence of those things, they are not going to cut it short.
Bangladesh, Arab Spring, and individual focus to political evolution.
Sorry, let's take it this way. Yes. Bangladesh, what does the Bangladeshi god look like?
The Bangladeshi god? I'm unaware of that.
They are Hindus now. If they are not Hindus, they'll be Muslim. If they are not,
basically,
it looks like them.
Yeah, it looks like them basically.
What's that one again?
Which one of them?
Which they are talking about?
I was talking about Arab Spring.
Okay, the Arabs. Yeah. Who do their god look like?
Basically, we all know that.
I assure you.
What do they look like?
I assure you. By the time your religious leaders are done telling you why you should obey your rulers, all the revolutionary fervor that you, the revolutionary, had built in the people. By the time the pastor is done giving them multiple verses in the Bible, and then the imam comes with his own verses and ayah from the Quran, how you should never quarrel with your rulers, you just find that you who was busy vibrating just now for revolution, they'll just look at you like you're the